If e-Citizen is properly audited, it could very easily become the biggest scandal in East and Central Africa. Just check out this tweet, for instance, and I quote, "MPs have raised alarm after 6.3 billion from the e-Citizen platform was diverted to a private account not approved by the Treasury. Shockingly, the Auditor General was also denied access to the key data during the audit." This is from Mo, aka Money Academy Kenya. And if you think that's just mere Twitter propaganda, here's primetime TV corroborating the exact same story.
Now, members of the National Assembly's Public Accounts Committee have questioned how 6.3 billion shillings was diverted from e-Citizen into a private account, raising concerns over the misuse of public funds. The National Treasury Principal Secretary, Dr. Chris Kiptoo, however, assured the committee that the money had been frozen pending investigations.
Now, having said that, in this video, I want us to dissect exactly what's happening in e-Citizen, because why is 6.3 billion being diverted overnight? To which account? Who are the signatories of that account, or who's the owner of that account? Which company? Which person? Why is this information not with us? That's what I want us to look into, and so with no further ado, let's get after it. Number one, Treasury PS Kiptoo has confirmed that the money was moved from e-Citizen to a private bank account. That much we already know. But the fortunate thing here for us is that he said this under oath in front of an ad hoc committee. Just listening to this before I tell you why that's important.
MPESA link under the PSPs, 24th of July 2026. It's here. I've referred you Annex 4A. So I don't know if you do post-dating or back-dating or...
And the decision was made that we also do make the payments. That's how now the subsequent payments were made. Responding to your question on who authorized, the authority on payment was based on the negotiations after the clearance of the Attorney General.
So we authorized?
The Attorney
General?
Yes. Once we were
are you able to provide evidence?
Yeah, it can be provided, yes. We can provide that.
And approval of payment?
Now, that is an internal...
You see, as usual, the Attorney General has to rubber stamp and approve the transfer of such ridiculous amounts of money from e-Citizen. And that tells us one thing, that the president is knee-deep in this. And we know this to be true because Ruto has a tendency of forcing his Attorney Generals to sign fake documents with little time for them to even peruse and read and understand the actual thing. Here's JB Muturi explaining exactly what Ruto tried to do to him in an airport, signing things with Russian oligarchs ambayo hata hana habari hii ni nini. Unapigiwa tu simu, kuna mtu uko wapi Berlin? Niko na mtu pale, sign hiyo kitu haraka haraka. Just listening to this.
Company. Then on the day we were coming from India, after that COP28, we flew to India for state visit, blah blah. I am landing on my way back because Guru, this guy of Defki, you see Ruto around him. It's one of the Guptas. When Guru told me during breakfast on the day we were leaving Delhi, that that plane of the president is not good. I've chatted another one for him as we are going direct. Get an executive jet. I've gotten him. So I land in Dubai. Ruto is calling me. Those people, those Russians want to. They are there. They are in Dubai. They are waiting. You sign things. I said, I'm just at the airport and I'm on transit. I am not leaving the airport. He said, no, but they are there. Your people, your staff have already worked on the document. I said, no, I will need to go and review it in office.
This document being the deal?
The deal. They were purporting to give a grant of $1 billion to grow allegedly 3 billion trees towards the 15 billion. William Ruto, whenever he comes up with a program, it's for money making. For him, it's for money making. Now, I come and tell them, they bring me an MOU. I tell them, and I remember I spoke about the MOUs.
Yes.
I told them, it came from the Minister of Environment, which they pushed through. I tell them this thing, the $1 billion can only be by way of a grant, but it cannot come directly to the ministry because under the PFM Act, Section 47, it can only go through the National Treasury. They are trying to avoid that money going to the National Treasury, and it's money coming from abroad.
Right.
I mean...
And you're being asked to sign in an airport.
I'm being told to sign at Dubai airport, and it's William Ruto calling me directly,
So for me, I'm 100% sure that AG Dorcas was forced to rubber stamp the movement of the 6.3 billion from e-Citizen to an unknown bank account. And after this regime goes home, she will be the one being taken to court. My personal advice to Dorcas, because ni mtu amenyamaza, mtu ana mambo mingi, and I bet that's the quality Ruto saw and decided to pick her when replacing JB Muturi. He didn't want mtu wa question na mtu wa kusema no. He went and got a nice lady, stellar career, If you tell her sign this, she will sign. Go there, she will go. But at the end of it all, do we have the precedent in this country of us ever going after a retired president? Uhuru has never been arraigned in court for anything he has ever done, even after leaving office. Neither was Kibaki, neither was Mzee Moi. So Ruto knows very well he can do what he wants. He can use the AG, he can use the CSs, he can use the majority leader, the speakers, but akimaliza his one term ama bahati mbaya 2 term, he will go and relax. He'll be hearing that atakuwa anatazama news kaa sisi kusikia ati vile waliiba 7 billion. It's like, tuliiba 7 billion. Okay, but no one is taking him to court. It is the likes of Dorcas. So don't do anything illegal. This is a lame duck president in a lame duck government ambayo inaenda kumaliza mhula wao in the next 1 year. No need for you to be in court the moment your 1 year inaisha. Do the right thing. Resign if you're getting illegal orders, but if you must stay there, speak truth to power like your predecessor did. Number 2, the government keeps telling us that they own eCitizen 100%. But it's a lie. eCitizen was originally developed by a private company called Webmasters Kenya, led by James Ayugi. A very lucky Kenyan, that guy. Until date, Webmasters are the ones micromanaging the site. Now, how sure are we that they can't follow orders from above? How sure are we that they have such high integrity that they won't code a bug that deducts 10% from every other payment and takes it to an offshore account? We need to create a proper body that is recognized in our constitution to conduct proper oversight over eCitizen. Otherwise, amwezi yunda wenyewe, atujui mlipata kandarasi aje, munaimanage wenyewe, pesa munasongesha wenyewe, lakini mambo ya kulipa ni sisi tufanye. Tukishalipa nyinyi mjue vile. No. That is nonsense. eCitizen must be under the constitution of Kenya. There should be a body to oversight that particular platform, because it's worth billions, trillions if they let the money sit and accumulate. How hard is it for us to have 6-7 people in charge? Ili kitu ikienda wrong, chairman na watu wake wadogo ndo wanapelekwa kotini. Whether they have finished their term or the incumbents, we can deal with them. Now we don't know who to deal with. Is it the AG, ama ni yule amewekewa hiyo 6 billion, ama ni PS wa Treasury, ama ni who do you go after? Anywho, that's just my thought process. Let's see what Kenyans next had to say about this. And I quote, "Now said, at this rate, I feel as though the oversight committees just want to expose the rogue activities and then leave everything. The question was wrongly answered. The DCI should be going after the PS as they are going after Tuju." Henry Kamala said, "This is a criminal offense. Those involved should be charged. We sent land cruisers to arrest Tuju for supposedly self-abduction. So based on that, truckloads of officers should be dispatched to arrest these criminals." Some random guy said, "Some junior IT intern will be paraded as the mastermind while the actual culprit walks away free." Yeah, this is what happens when you're a yes man. Unaambiwa sign here, you sign. Shida ikikuja na kuangukia. Cranky said, "Looting left, right and center. The degree of corruption in Kenya is actually demonic. Hawa watu wanaiba sana and it's a daily thing. Walai 6 billion si pesa kidogo and it's billions daily. Mathegi hawa." Samuel N. Orutwa said, "A great mistake the Kenyan people made is having a constitution which allows the president and executive team to treat public money as personal money to collect and spend the way they want without citizens complaining and fight for the right to decide on the same." But what say you guys? Do drop me your comments in the comment section below and I'll do my best to read them and to give you a response. So with that, here today's ads of the day.
Right now, I'm with my team headed to a client's house in Ruiru for consultation. That is to take measurements of the windows, go through our catalog with the client, and then once they decide on the color and the fabric they want, we'll get busy sewing, and at long last, the curtains installation will be on us. So if you're looking for curtains, shears, curtain rods, curtain accessories, reach out to Phoenix Curtains and Interior Decor and we will sort you out. Call us on 0724 414153.
If you're in need of electrical wiring, solar installation, or electrical fittings such as strip lights, snake lights, downlighters, or chandeliers, contact Engineer Wycliffe at 0707 476602 and he'll get your house dapped up. If you're here for the first time, please go and hit the subscribe button. And if you're watching for a different platform, just head on over to YouTube, search for David Wafula. Hit the subscribe button. You're going to be getting a ton of content of this nature. If politics is something you're passionate about, this is definitely the one channel that you really need to subscribe to. All right, guys, adios. Thank you for choosing David Wafula as your primary news platform. We put countless hours in research, recording, and editing. By showing up each and every day to watch our videos, you encourage us to generate more videos for the viewers. We are on a mission to inform, educate, and build a better tomorrow. To our thousands of followers in a world full of presidents, kings, and queens, you are the real gem. Adios.